Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Casper Network. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with a few things. So one, we are nearing the 37,000 holders statistic, which is very exciting to see. We are sitting at about roughly 120, almost 1,000 accounts. Now, I want to put a spotlight on this real quick because we have been comparing ADA to Casper for so long. And today what I really want to talk to you guys a little bit about is a few statistics. So first off, you could actually look at the account stats for the last 2 weeks. We're not seeing a massive amount of accounts being created at all per day. The average here, if we actually look, is about roughly 122 accounts every single day. It's a little under 100 accounts per day, with sometimes we do go over 100, or we do have some spikes here. For an example, we did see about 363 in one day on June 16th. But for the most part, what I am looking at and comparing to ADA, because what we do really see around ADA is a lot of comparisons price-wise. And a lot of people try to gauge the price action of Casper in the future on where we can go, comparing it to ADA. And I do think that we're kind of similar in a way on where we are at with ADA versus Casper, meaning we already had this nice spike up to about roughly $1.33, which is like the only major all-time high that we can account for, because remember, Casper never experienced a bull run. So as we do look at this, like, do I think that we can go all the way up to about $3 for Casper? 100%. There's not a doubt in my mind that we could very well go to those prices because of the supply, but also the adoption of Casper. Also remember, like, Casper, we don't know where Casper can go off of, just previous all-time highs, because there was technically not an all-time high that was created through price action. It was created through the ICO. So again, it's unknown on where Casper can go. But one thing that I have been comparing is the active accounts versus ADA's active accounts. Now, currently speaking, as we do look at the active accounts, there was a few spikes this year already where we did have about roughly over 1,000 active accounts. But for the most part, it's like around less than 500 per day. We did see this spike up in the past to about roughly 6,000 on December 8th of 2021. This was right around the time that we did see the price action of Casper significantly kind of having a volatile trip. Most of that price action happened in November, though. If we actually go back to Casper, here you guys have Casper. We go to the all-time chart. Again, this is like talking about this time here where we topped out in the end of November at about roughly 21 cents. So again, as we do look at, that's why we did see these spikes. We even seen a nice spike here during June of 2022, most likely due to the fact that people were buying the dip, and this is what happened. Now, what's wild today is when we look at these statistics and we actually look at ADA, currently speaking, there's about 4.4 million addresses. Active addresses 24-hour volume is about roughly 62,000. So 62,000 active addresses. Now, also, there's a few things that you could look at with this. You could also look at the wallets. So here is the new ADA wallets per day. This has slowly diminished since going all the way back to 2021 when we did see ADA top out. But as you guys do see back here, like, there was almost 25,000 new wallets created in one day. Again, when you have that hype, a lot of wallets get created. But in terms of the ADA wallets, this was not always like this. Going all the way back to the earliest time that we have on this statistic, there was total wallets about roughly 185,000 wallets here. Mind you, this was December 19th. When we go back to December 19th, this is when some of the price action was already kind of starting. It was sitting at about roughly 16 cents during this time on ADA, after it dropped all the way down to about roughly 3 cents during March of 2020. The reason why I'm looking at this, and the reason why I look at the total wallets, I'm kind of comparing total wallets with total accounts, kind of the same thing, if you will, but I know it's not. If we look at Casper today, and we go back to the homepage, we are at a roughly 120,000 account statistic here. So when you look at this versus the accounts or the wallets created on ADA, we are so damn early. And in fact, I think that we're kind of at that point in time where, Casper's starting to slightly have that uptrend this year itself. It's up about roughly 61%. I'm hoping that our floor is already in and that we are going to start this trajectory to, a dollar plus. Again, it's going to take a lot of time, but I will say this: I have accumulated a bag of Casper that I'm happy if it just goes to 50 cents, which I think everyone should try to do. That way, you don't have to wait for these massive high targets. But again, at a dollar for Casper, it's roughly $11.8 billion in market cap, which is practically right on par with the average market cap of the top 15, top 20 of 2021. I think that we could see the top 10, top 15, and possibly even the top 20 all have about roughly a $20 to $25 billion market cap, nearing the all-time highs this next major cycle. And if that is the case, and if Casper does make its way into the top 20, top 15, maybe even the top 10, then I could see the price of Casper being significantly higher than, what I've said in the past, which was that, $3 to $5 to possibly even higher, depending on how large Casper becomes. But I figured I would just kind of compare and contrast a few of those statistics to show you just how early we are on Casper. But also, I do want to talk to you guys about a few things. So one, listing opportunity for Casper. There's going to be a lot more listing opportunity for Casper, most likely on Coinbase, Binance, and some of the tier 1 exchanges. Recently, we did get an exchange listing on an Indian crypto platform. Now, I am not aware of this platform at all, but it seems as though they are a pretty decently sized exchange. Only 30,000 followers though, so nothing too crazy there. Probably doesn't really change the price much at all, but it's still great for, liquidity and allowing a lot more exposure for Casper. I'm still waiting on some of the larger exchange listings for Casper. It's probably going to be a little bit more of a wait, but I'm still excited for the future around Casper. If we do continue to see development happening, expansions happening, then we will get those T1 exchanges. Now, I do want to talk to you guys about an article that recently came out. It was on Forbes, actually, and it's written by an individual from Casper, or at least I believe it is. Let me go back and look at the bottom. So I actually don't have it open because Forbes pretty much paywalled me, but I'm pretty sure it's written by an individual from Casper. But nonetheless, we do see blockchain has been under the microscope for years, with the popular narrative assuming that blockchain and cryptocurrency are synonymous. While the latter is certainly an application of the former, this popular and incorrect association has obscured blockchain's broader potential. In truth, it goes far beyond cryptocurrency, a fact that organizations are increasingly recognizing to drive positive business outcomes and realize competitive advantage over the field. Now, one thing that I will say is that as we look at businesses and enterprises adopting crypto, it's becoming a big thing. And it really kind of started, I would say, with Hedera, but now more than ever, they are jumping on board. We do see businesses are already adopting the technology at unprecedented rates, with 87% of them either already deploying blockchain technology or actively planning to invest in it in 2023, according to our company's recent report. Now is the time to educate the broader public about blockchain's real-world use case and also how they're extremely detached from crypto-driven noise cycles. And yeah, enterprises do not care at all about the prices of these assets because they want in on the technology itself. As we do look over ServiceNow with Hedera, for an example, this is a platform of platforms for digital workflow revolution. 6,900 customers, 80% of the Fortune 500 penetration, and 97% renewal rate. This is one of the largest networks out there around the enterprise grade scene. And as I've said, we see a lot of the efficiencies from blockchain technology being harnessed through some of these large names. The reason I brought up this example is because we are seeing digital workflows being created from networks like Hedera. This is the same way how I envision Casper. I think that Casper is going to be a very large player around the enterprise grade scene. Remember, there's not going to just be a one player fits all sort of approach here. It's going to be multiple players assigned to the enterprise grade sector, and I think that Casper is definitely one of them, simply because of what they have been doing recently with the expansion into enterprise through names like IPW. I know that a lot of people still overlook IPW, and that's totally fine, but also a lot of the business models that Casper has been creating has been heavily centered out on the enterprise grade scene. Also, upgradable smart contracts, big game changer for the enterprise grade sector, which is going to most likely drastically impact the use case potential and also the adoption cycle for Casper. Now, over here, we do see decentralizing supply chain and manufacturing management. this is an area that I'm also hyper focused on in terms of adoption, because these are smaller markets that are ripe for disruption that need to be disrupted. And we even do see like supply chains are notoriously fragmented, particularly in the wake of the pandemic. Executives are facing dampened efficiency and output, and a disjointed view of their entire system prevents them from maximizing the value of moving goods. Again, another big area to hit home about. Like, this is a huge area to focus on, because again, like as we do look at some of these markets, blockchain technology could ultimately allow for a lot more efficiencies to be realized in, but also create a lot more value. I think that the adoption of this technology in some of these areas like supply chain is going to grow tremendously over the next few years. Also over here, tokenizing financial assets to make data more accessible and profitable. Again, big area in terms of tokenization, as well as increasing the speed of settlement and the cost of settlement. All of this is becoming a big deal to focus on. Liquidity management, unlocking liquidity and unlocking trapped capital. It's so huge in terms of the tremendous benefits that tokenization has within the financial asset space. I think that the world of finance itself will most likely be on chain in the next couple years, probably within the next decade, I would say. A large portion of the financial world will be on chain. Also, increasing customer engagement for retailers. The $6 trillion e-commerce market is still growing, and retailers of all sizes are throwing out their old engagement playbooks to attract and retain loyal customers more efficiently than ever. And again, through blockchain technology, it enables retailers to securely generate identity-linked offers based on target metrics while maintaining pseudonymity for consumers in a way that doesn't compromise key personal information. Again, a lot of this is huge for the retailers, for the big companies, for these big enterprise names as well. Like all of this, everything combined, it's a recipe for incredible adoption. And of course, what comes next, right? We have obstacles. We have to get over the regulatory problems that we have here. We also have to, look into how we can connect these networks to networks and, allow for this type of technology to be adopted in. And a lot of this is being solved, again, through names like Quant, for an example. But the adoption curve here for crypto technology and for blockchain technology, it's very similar to the internet, right? Except I think that this is going to be much larger than the internet boom. And I think that there's going to be a lot more value tied to it as well, because this is real world use case. This is, use cases outside of the scope of what the internet, did for these businesses. This is literally giving them an upper hand in digitizing their entire workflow, making things move a lot faster, creating efficiencies and value like no other before. So this is a huge area. And it's also a massive opportunity as well for those that are investing in it, but also those that are building within this. And of course, last but not least, I do want to give a shout out to the X Frontier. We do see over here, invoice factoring. When a business sells its outstanding invoices to third parties, usually at a discount to meet cash flow needs, invoice processing is typically a much longer and complex payment process for businesses, which hinders liquidity for operational costs, etc. Invoice factoring market expected to double to $4.6 trillion by 2031. Demand from small and medium-sized enterprises to grow at a higher rate, 11.5%, 2031. SMEs represent 90% of businesses and 50% of employment worldwide. Access to capital is a key constraint to SME growth. Invoice factoring can provide SMEs with needed cash flow. Casper has partnered with Telangana government of India to provide a factoring use case. India is the largest SME market in the world, 75 million SMEs, accounting for 1/3 of the country's total manufacturing output. Nucleus Finance is another use case that provides businesses and factoring firms the ability to tokenize their assets and liabilities. Tally, a next-gen invoicing platform on Casper. The prototype was presented at the Blockchain Hub in January. Tally is looking to integrate with Nucleus Finance to do tokenization of billing. Not a lot of info currently available. For more information, Tally, see the first link from the hub. Timestamp 3830 to 5735. If you guys do want to go check that video out, you guys are more than welcome to go check out the X Frontier over on Twitter. Give him a follow. Also, subscribe to him on YouTube. He puts out a ton of Casper content. I know that a lot of you guys ask me like, hey, where's the Casper video this day? I can't make Casper videos every single day, but if you guys do want to go check out, Casper videos and a lot more information, the X Frontier is your go-to. But yeah, there's a lot of issues here that are being solved through blockchain technology. And I think that, like I said, this is like the next generation of technology. This is going to be a much larger asset class than anyone can anticipate, even myself. Even like the valuations, right? Like I tell you guys, like I can make predictions all day about where I think Casper is going, but I'll probably be wrong because this market is unpredictable, right? In my opinion, as we do look at Casper, I think that a 10x from here is very likely. I think 100x from here is possible. And I think that the future is going to be very bright for a lot of these networks like Casper, like Hedera, that are building constantly, that have a strong team behind them, that are hyper focused on businesses, enterprises, because again, like these are problems that need to be solved. These are problems that are ripe for disruption, that the technology just isn't there yet, but it is within blockchain. But the problem is that they need to get to this technology, and the only way to do that is by bridging the gap in terms of connection, right? We need to have interconnectivity. And I think that that is starting to be solved. I think that a lot of these enterprises are seeing this as well, and interoperability is becoming a major hit right now. And I think it's only a matter of time until we start to see these businesses really reliant on these networks for digitizing their workflows. But also, I think that there's quite a bit happening behind the scenes with a lot of the adoption of these networks that we just don't see yet because of NDAs and things like that. But it definitely is exciting to see things starting to come together around this massive puzzle. And I've been hyper focused on it. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night. Wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.